November 13th. It's 6:01. Public forum.
No,
I don't think I have any public forum.
hey,
Appointments, I think we have one appointment, if my memory serves me correctly.
No, not that I'm aware.
It wasn't one for a firefighter.
oh, no,
Lieutenant.
no, we need to do that.
Don't need to do that.
The fire chief makes it.
Okay, all right.
It's up to him whether he wants you to make it.
That's a
Cool.
strong chief. who gets it.
He gets to do that.
Yeah.
All right, so in an efficient sense, we'll move to new business. We have a discussion regarding procedure for change of name from Board of Selectmen to Select Board.
Yes, so David asked me to look into this a little bit. So I provided you a couple of copies of what was done by a number of other towns. The prevailing process appears to be some form of special legislation.
Okay.
Either through a town charter or a legislative bylaw, special legislation bylaw. One way or the other, it does seem to have to go that way. I also called our district, they still have more Rooney there, and talked to her about it. And as far as she was aware in her opinion, it was usually special legislation.
Okay,
So I figured that was important for you to know now, since you're also talking about a special town meeting.
Yeah.
You know, maybe an opportune time. As you can see, they don't have to be very longly worded. We
No.
probably copy the one we like best. essentially.
Yeah.
And just run it by town council before.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, this was slated to be done in the warrant,
Okay.
you know, going back almost 2.5 years now, so
Yeah.
it's something that,
It seems like you don't really have to reinvent the wheel and we have an opportunity.
right, I mean, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. We could just take one of these and use that as a model and go forward with it.
yeah,
Tuesday afternoon, so.
Yeah,
I like the Tisbury one because it still mentions the powers that the Board of Selectmen had. But it makes it to be known as a select board, so I think I like that sort of transition.
so it'll still have,
Yeah,
nothing's changed but the name.
but the name, it's
Yeah.
purely the name, which I think is important to the residents of the town and
Yeah,
those that sit in our position in the future, so.
yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, I'd love to see that thrown on the special fall town meeting warrant to do that.
I would like to see that too.
And anything that needs to be, advocated to push that along, so. Maybe we discuss it. Maybe we have the draft wording at the next meeting. Will be a goal and sort of using the Tisbury language. That's
Yeah.
the one that my eye goes to. Quickly looking at the
Mhm.
ones that Jake brought for us to review.
And it may just be as simple as changing.
Tisbury, West
Tisbury, yeah.
Tisbury to
Obviously, yeah.
Dunstan, so.
Yeah, again, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, there's someone else who did the work. Let's,
And it was done very recently.
Yeah.
so The language should be mostly good for the general part.
yeah, that'd be great. All right, so that's
All right, so that would be number 6 on this.
Yeah.
All right, good, I'm good with that.
next topic was consideration of an update to the junk and unregistered motor vehicle bylaw.
So we started to talk about this. Were you on the board then?
No, but I
I don't
remember on
think
the advisory board, I was there.
Oh,
that-
okay.
And sort of there was like a structure to enforcing it, and our zoning enforcement officer was going to be charged with.
Or I think there was something where the police would possibly, but then there was,
The
well,
junk
we don't want to
bylaw.
be in charge of that too, but.
You did pass an update to it at the special town meeting in 2019. And you did increase the fine from $20 to $100.
We did, that was passed at town meeting?
It appears so from what I see on the website, but I could be wrong. We did have an article up. Cross-check the town report.
But I thought we questioned like how we
Yeah, I
were
don't know.
enforcing that.
That was right, it was like who was going to enforce, right now, the enforcement powers with the select board,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
It looked like you had authorized the police to do it. But let me double check in the report because I was going off the warrant.
okay.
Is there, what's our goal here on this? I don't have a lot of strong feelings about this other than
Well, I
I
think,
know it's a pain for some neighbors and communities, so.
yeah,
I don't think I really want to ask the police to go out there and have to enforce that. Because how do you make a call on what junk is? One person's junk is another person's, literally.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
You still have a complaint process that would trigger a hearing that the board would have,
okay,
and then you would make a determination, kind of like a dog hearing, a nuisance dog hearing.
yeah,
And then at that point, you can impose, I think, the fine and so forth. And then I think it was just that the police would be able to write the ticket or something.
okay,
That was one of the things we found tricky, is that Chief Dow has noted with like, or no parking signs on the common, there's nothing that actually authorizes them to ticket. It.
Yeah, cites
The fine or minimum.
yeah,
So we have these sometimes in our zoning, these kind of null ones,
yeah,
so.
Yeah.
They do handicap parking, everything like the marijuana citations and it's not bylaw citation, but those other ones that
okay,
and I don't remember that 2019 that's ever enforced.
yeah.
After
Well, there weren't any hearings that came before us to do it, so we would have to come to us, a complaint would have to be made before us.
Right.
And I think that was kind of what was weird is we were the ones who were supposed to be, I think, observing it, having a hearing on it and then enforcing it and then trying to collect. And it was like, there's too many,
a lot of moving
a
parts.
lot of moving parts for one board to do.
Yeah,
Plus the fine was sort of inadequate at $25 and
Yeah.
we wanted to have some substance.
Right, is it $100 a day after being told that you're in violation, or is it just $100? And
Or is it $100 per day, each day being a continued violation?
after-
Right,
Yeah.
right. So,
How is it structured?
well, we'll probably have to look at it all again and then look at what the intent of it was in the first place. Because, you know, as you said, there is a particular property that I drive by very frequently that is, in my eyes, a mess. It's been that way for years. It looks like it's finally starting to get cleaned up a little bit, but there were probably 15 like jet skis or something.
Oh,
there.
it's-
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
Yeah,
It looks like a land.
it looks a little better, but there's been a lot of activity there.
Yeah,
I don't know if the property's changed hands or what, but that is something that I guess personally I would consider would fall under the junk bylaw. But
Right, but is it?
is that the intent of it?
Is it junk vehicles? Or is
Right.
it-
Right,
It does look like it does look like article pass.
In 19,
Yeah, voted in the affirmative, majority vote required. And it did a couple of updates, like it took some of the timetables and extended them a little bit. And yeah, from like 14 days to 30 days for the complaint and a few other things, and then it increases the fine to $100.
okay,
And it says the enforcement authority in this regard shall be for the fines, police department, and includes non-criminal disposition after.
so what was our concern going forward then? I don't remember.
yeah, I don't know what the sort of pendulum swing was to have this on the agenda, but
I think it was on Brian's list
okay.
to Dave.
Oh, all right.
Well, you know, this happened in 2019 and then COVID came and no one went outside, so no one was dealing with the junk bylaws.
Yeah.
Forgot about it.
Good to see you grow up from living in-
Yes.
Or we just thought it was a hobby.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
I'll have to do my homework on this again, because
my thought there, just in general, is I think it should be the zoning enforcement officer.
Yeah.
Enforcing that, and then perhaps if a fine were to be delivered or a citation to be delivered, then it would be with. Police escort, if you will, because I wouldn't want anybody to be trespassing or any of that stuff to get.
yeah,
Yeah,
Same
just for
with-
that person's safety. I mean,
so for the
Yeah.
insurance,
who would
okay,
have-
yeah,
Yeah.
The problem with that is the last time you brought in the zoning enforcement officer, he pointed out that this is a general bylaw, not a zoning bylaw. Thus, he doesn't.
maybe that's what it was.
So you'd have to probably take that bylaw and turn it into a zoning bylaw and convert it in order for him to have jurisdiction.
Okay,
Or you write it into his job description or their job description. As a task of the job.
I suppose that, is that,
That's what
do it.
we use that language for the town administrator position.
yeah,
It's the same theory.
yeah,
I mean, and maybe we need to see what some other communities are doing that face
Yeah,
this
when it comes
topic.
down to the enforcement part of it, maybe that would be the same, as just, be responsible for.
evaluating.
For evaluation.
Yeah, so maybe it's something we have to revisit at a
Yeah,
future meeting.
check out whether it needs to be a zoning bylaw in order for the zoning,
Yeah.
for the inspection officer.
Any further discussion on that?
No, except to go home and reread it.
Next on the agenda is review of draft special town meeting warrant, determination on date and expected time frame for free cash certification. I know date wise, we have one of our board members traveling for a bit of time. So does that mean we should be looking like mid-October, year before the 17th, ideally?
If we can do that, it's fast approaching.
Yeah, or like the second week of November. Can't really do November 8th because that's an election day, but like,
Well, if so, some of this is really waiting on free cash being certified by
Yeah.
the state, so.
sort of best to
Yeah.
hold on to that, so.
I don't want to have to be planning a whole town meeting. And not, it seems like they usually certify it before then,
Usually,
but it's not
but you're also emergency DOR.
Yeah,
right.
I guess my head goes to that first week of November, and would it be like Wednesday, the 8th? Wednesday, the 9th,
That would be fine with me.
that's where I think I would like to aim for.
Okay.
Unless Jake or Dave have any,
The 8th is election day, so we can't do that.
yeah, so I was gonna do the 9th, maybe
The 9th,
Wednesday, the
yeah.
9th. That's sort of what my,
Are you thinking of maybe going back to an indoor meeting, like the elementary school?
yeah, that's what I was,
So maybe like a business night or.
6 p.m. I guess. Ideally before, after. We'll see what the school committee meetings are. Maybe they don't have a meeting that night, so
Yeah,
people don't feel the rush to have to go to that.
but we'd normally, when we were having town meetings prior to COVID and people outside, we would start them at 7, just so to allow people to get home from work.
Yeah, I mean, we could still do that, because I think going back indoors is fine.
Yeah,
If people want to wear a mask, that's their own personal decision.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of where the world is at now in general. So maybe we check with Dave on November the 9th.
Okay.
To see if that seems reasonable. Be one of his last acts as sort of Dunstable interim to TA too, so.
Yeah.
He's sort of coming to a close there. I do wonder if it's enough time to set a salary position appropriation for the TA role. My only thought as I'm looking at the articles here. In general, we have. We have to think of
number
the,
1, you mean?
yeah. Right, because we're gonna try to advertise that position before
Right,
that.
right.
Maybe it just is what it is.
There are a lot of moving parts in setting the state, and
Yeah.
a lot of them we don't have any control over.
Yeah, so let's tentatively look at that
Okay,
date.
so that's actually number 4,
It's like one is to create the position,
position, yeah.
and then 4 is to come up with the funding for the position. And then ideally, the water line funds would be. Would all be identified by then ideally.
Yeah, but that's a one-shot deal. This is gonna be something that we need to consider. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be. spring meeting.
Yeah.
And considering we're looking to. I didn't read through that, but did we put in the time? That would be in the contract for how long? It's not stipulated here. How long we would have that TA for in the contract?
3 years, I
3
think.
years.
Yeah, would be the goal.
I think we
Yeah.
should just zero fund the police and then we can make sure that we have this.
He wasn't listening. I saw the clays. Yeah, let's chat at our next meeting to determine dates.
Okay.
Because otherwise, if you had to do October, what would it be?
I'm,
It'd be like October 12, right?
Yeah.
That would be about it, 10, 12, which is a month away. I don't think that's enough time to advertise it either, right?
well, there's all the like clerky things that need to be done with it, the timelines and
Yeah, so I think
so,
we're too hard pressed to.
we have to put out the warrant, we have to have the public meeting on the warrant, we
Socialize
have
it.
to, so, and then have the hearing on it.
Mhm.
And then so many days from that, it has to be presented to the clerk. I don't think we have time.
Yeah, I think we gotta look at that November date.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Okay.
And if it turns out that isn't even enough time either, then the following. I guess.
Then
But then
November
we're getting close
16th.
to, yeah,
I don't think I can. 16th. Yeah, I could be, I could,
or even Monday. I mean, why are you shooting for Wednesday? Just no particular reason.
yeah, not just middle of the week people.
Yeah.
All right, so 11/9 or the following week, 11/14.
Okay.
Unless Dave has a real strong
Yeah.
distaste for that.
Okay.
There's a lot of this falls on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Um,
Was there any-
otherwise, I guess I'd want to know for number 7, what amount of money they're looking for that aquatic dew meeting of Lake Massapog. This is a reoccurring issue.
Well, it's gonna
It
be.
is, yeah, it's a
constant
permanent
problem.
issue, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But that, I mean, that's just coming from CPC money, though. That's not coming out of our town budget.
yeah. I just know that was an issue a couple of years ago, right? So it's just a constant.
They just got their order of conditions extended for another 3 years to continue
Okay,
battling those. I mean, it's gonna be a forever issue. but
yeah,
Whether this is always gonna be the way to do it, the science isn't there yet.
so,
Oh, I should remind you, I heard from Ryan Sullivan today, he's a little frustrated, we haven't got to the dam out here. We know that there is a problem with it. It's probably cost about 150,000.
Oh, the dam?
Yeah, remember we.
the
It
Woodward,
was one of
Yeah, we
the last
were.
Ryan's talked to the three left, we were
Yeah.
down. So we do have a resident that's very concerned about it. So.
Yeah, right. I was actually thinking about this.
I told him we were pursuing legislative earmarks and everything to put for it, it might be a CPC project of some sort,
yeah,
you know, that we don't have the money to just do it.
yeah,
But that we are keeping an eye on it, so far it doesn't pose a hazard to the public.
Yeah.
I just,
Seems like we were waiting for our Hoyle and Tanner to do something.
well, we just got them tasked with stormwater, and I don't know if they were supposed to do something.
Weren't they gonna do
They
like
were
a
gonna do
follow-up
engineering.
review
Yeah.
of it? Because the last report we had was from like 2019 or something. And I thought. I haven't checked through my notes, but it seems like. It's all a blur. But I thought we were going to have.
we were waiting for a follow-up report. from them.
Report from our new engineers, yeah,
Okay, I'll check with the town engineer.
okay.
Yeah, because maybe that becomes a CPC vote for funding.
I don't know if that,
Does it fall?
no.
Not as like a restoration project? Gray area. Murky.
Big gray area, yeah.
The town can be really murky if the dam.
It's exactly.
I don't want that either.
No.
All right, so a couple of things there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the article items, I think, look okay to me. You know, we have some salary step increases for non-union personnel.
Yeah.
You know, appropriation for the TA. Treasurer collector offset. You know, the ratification of the change of selectmen into select board. The de-weeding, and then. You know, a grant for the fire department. For the safer, to offset a safer grant deficit. And of course, the placeholder for the water line for additional funds if desired by the.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen. I may ask Dave to pull the junk bylaw one off there, because I just don't think I guess we have some time.
Yeah, we have
So
some time.
we don't
Let's
have
give
to
it
really do anything.
one more look at.
Yeah,
It's not, I don't see it as a pressing issue right
Mhm.
now, but.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this number 11?
So essentially, we voted to approve $62,000 and change for
Yeah,
capital budget for school. And we, because of that vote, the 1-year debt exclusion capital
yeah,
vote, that 62K comes back to the town's piggy bank.
all
Back
right,
to our
right. So
general
we need
free
to, okay.
Pull it back.
Okay,
Yeah. You have to have the town.
yeah,
approve
that makes sense, yeah,
Um, Oh, then we wanted
we're
to,
doing this again,
so we should update the study
okay,
that we had from 2018.
just to, can you just say, no? Okay, no, that's fine. It's good to have good data.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and looking at that data, it's actually quite hard to even follow it. And I mean, maybe the previous town administrator knew it. Dave sort of felt that it was worded,
Ambiguous.
yeah, and he's like, you really should have a working document. Or
So
a more crystal clear document for,
So are we looking to have the same people do it or someone new?
so Dave was gonna reach out to that
Okay,
actuary and see if they could just. Retool the numbers ideally,
okay.
waiting for an answer on that. That
That would be
was
the
that.
cheaper way to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But it may cost, he wasn't sure what the price range would be.
I didn't have the bill, I only had the study.
Yeah, and it is something that, could be really attractive to our town hall employees as well as, different
Yeah,
departments within the town. So,
if they can come up with a good number, yeah.
yeah. Help with retention, so.
Yeah. Okay,
So that closes that one out.
there's nothing we had discussed before about putting on there. It seems like.
Next on the agenda is school CPC meeting on Swallow Union Elementary School. I actually apologize to Lacey because I ghosted her because I was supposed to have a call with her
Nope.
this past weekend. I just totally forgot. I emailed her today. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so
So
not,
no answer there. But what I'm understanding is they really want it. Pure speculation here. It sounds like they want someone to take ownership of that project and really run with it. And I don't know who, or how that's going to be determined.
yeah, well, it's not gonna be the CPC. Because that's not the role of the CPC.
Right,
Yeah.
so it's not CPC. I don't know if it's the selectmen. I don't know if it's the historic commission. I don't know if it's the school committee, so I'm like, well, who is it?
Who would it be?
I don't know. It's not really, it could be the TA,
Yeah. It could be.
I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yeah.
Like, I guess a part of me thought would be. You'd be compensating someone to do the work. So I thought you would pay someone to potentially take over that, but I guess they still want a main point of contact. For topics that come up throughout the process. I don't know who that is.
It could be a group,
I
be
know,
more than
and-
one person.
yeah.
It could be sort of a representative from each, like someone from school committee, someone from
but then you're only
the
getting,
board, or,
yeah, sometimes the timeliness of those answers is tricky.
yeah.
If it was right, if they get a dry spell, they'll do all the work in the next. Over a span of months and then. They're waiting on a meeting to get an answer.
One, well, yeah, just a point person who can then talk immediately to.
Right. And I don't know if that was exactly what Lacey's question was, so I apologize to her.
Okay,
Playing phone tag essentially.
so we're not done. Okay. That's all for that.
Yep, next is review town administrator advertisement and hiring schedule.
Do you have a printout of that by any chance?
I don't. Maybe I tabled that one. 'Cause I don't think I had that email. So you think you got it in yours?
We thought it should be sort of trimmed down a little bit, but I don't know. There's nothing wrong with having info.
Yeah,
Responsible for day-to-day operations, report to the board directly. We may want to be changing board of selectmen to select board, depending on the town meeting.
yeah,
Developing town, assist the board in developing town policies, oversee the implementation and oversight of these policy directives. Shall prepare reports of recommendations to board, shall experience in procurement, risk management, grant writing, other administration, municipal duties. Provide leadership and direction to short and long range plans, provide professional guidance to various boards, departments, and committees on managing municipal operations and resources. Serve as the de facto human resource director. This is a non-exempt position. We'll be placing a bylaw in October. We put that in there, right?
yeah, we did.
That's number one.
Yep. I think we November.
Yeah, fix that. So, will review outcomes. Position, step Patrick Green, government, public, business admin, 3 years experience as a town administrator. Assistant town administrator, government manager, and master's preferred. I don't know why you want that, it sounds. Covers everything.
Yeah. So if we,
So then just those 2 tweaks based on whether, when we plan on having,
a town meeting and.
yeah, I guess we don't need to change that, this, yeah.
No, we can. I think
It's just
Dave
the
gets that.
advertisement. So, yeah,
When do we want to put that up? Like next week?
I think soon.
Yeah, I think next week. Like
Um,
9,
So it says here. Review of applications will begin October 12th, the hire and start date mid-November. Position will be open until filled. So that means I may be gone for the interview process.
yeah. But it should probably be a few. Rounds of interviews and a few different, almost an ad hoc committee.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's gotta, like we did with Brian. Like we had different reps from different groups come forward. Like I was
Yeah,
here
yeah.
for one of them.
yeah,
And I know like Bob Nelson was in on another, like,
yeah,
and it was pretty successful. I think we gotta follow a similar path. Maybe it's, it's Dave or Jim Fry from advisory was pretty good.
Dave,
Dave.
Jim Fry.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Handle of things or. Or Jake, or Harold, doesn't really matter, but we just gotta get.
Yeah.
Some different eyes on this.
I
So-
agree, yeah,
So if we have a meeting next Tuesday. Maybe we can solidify that schedule. As a select board and then. Have Dave advertise it the next day, get it up and out.
okay, I'm fine to meet as much as we need to.
Okay. Yeah, let's aim to have another select board meeting 9:20.
Yeah.
And then
What time do you want it at?
6,
6 o'clock, okay.
and then ideally the 21st, he'll be able to post that job.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Cool, okay. Next is discussion on ideas for Green Communities Grant Round 2 due in October.
Guys have anything?
Yeah, I mean, we can do electric constant AC unit was replaced. I had him on, a couple weeks ago, we were having problems with it. said that was probably 15, almost 20 years old down there. That's something, the bathrooms should be, you know, upgraded. I don't know what was, I honestly don't. Never heard back from the guy that chief is scheduled to put showers in, but that'd be huge for us. I mean, new AC and new showers, and that maybe do something that would incorporate stove in the firehouse somehow.
I don't know if that has anything to do with efficiencies, but
Yeah.
in my, I mean, I don't, I put a list together and we can
Alright.
go through it and see.
When's the last day that I can get that deal?
Um,
Our note just says due in October, but if you have a working list, just send it to, yeah, send it to
Yeah.
the select board and
Yeah.
copy Dave.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know it was time on that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
better to have a bunch than
Oh, yeah.
nothing at all.
and then we can see what could fit in that,
Yeah.
under that category or.
Yeah.
And,
For us, we got the last car that, you know, to the wall.
Oh, right. Yep,
We
yep.
Talked about it. and
We
she
talked with
verified
Kelly,
it
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And she said absolutely that would apply again.
Okay. Yeah, same thing. If you email Dave and just copy the select board, but just so we have a running tally sheet there.
Yep.
I think you probably already did it, so,
I think of anything else, but then we
Yeah.
could have done. All the new systems, the AC, the heat,
yeah,
the lighting, the
Yeah.
insulation, the, I mean, unless there's some way to go to, something you could do with the roof maybe, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Solar panels, right? I don't think-
yeah, I mean, stuff like solar panels would be kind of cool to do, and we we're talking about.
The school.
The school. like
yeah, so
the
there's
roof.
programs out there right now
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, it's.
May not be the green community, but something good.
Does our roof down on that? Because we had some leaks and the roof guy came to fix the patch leaks and that the rubber roof portion of it
Mhm.
needs to be replaced now because it's like too many patches and.
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I don't know if that.
Put it on there.
Major,
can-
you know what I mean?
What happens like, and NIMCOG is helping sort of guide some of this along. They were doing it for, and I know the town I grew up in Connecticut. They said, well, our roof needs to be replaced. And well, based on one of those federal solar grants, they got a new roof.
Yeah.
And then all the solar panels,
Yeah.
and it's made it a zero carbon whatever school. And then they're also putting power back into the grid. And they got a new roof on it. So like the school's like, we're pumped, we got a new roof. And then they also realized they zeroed out the utility.
They won't want to put that over a roof that's 20 years old or 30 years old.
So what they'll do is they'll replace the roof
Right,
and then,
it's only because I'm saying that's part of it.
yeah,
So it's the substructure for the school.
so,
It's where they shop.
yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, ideally, we'd love to get you guys a new
Right.
fire department, but that's still a building that could be used for something else in the event that it's not a firehouse. You know, especially with a nice new roof, it means it's not leaking water,
Yeah. Yeah.
so. Yeah,
Regular things. Does this building need anything?
HVAC. Maybe different lighting, because I know lighting's,
They're not incorporating lighting.
no,
School normally, right?
Yeah,
That's what she said, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we've been having a balance problem and then like lots of leaks.
yeah,
all right, well, continue to brainstorm on that.
Yeah.
So just
anything,
put some ideas together, and whether you think it will work or not, you never know. Maybe I'll find a way to tweak it in.
Is there anywhere we can look to see like approved types of projects for that? green community center?
You could probably go through, there must be some sort of
Websites?
website, through
Yeah,
the Green
I can
Communities
see that.
program.
Yeah.
Even call,
Yeah.
Kelly.
I can look.
Yeah. well, we can look into it.
or even like the Explorer for the fire department, right? That's a little bit older, right? Or if
What's
that,
that?
the Ford Explorer for the fire department's a little bit older, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
replace it with a hybrid, whatever,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Mm.
Just be, it's just been, it's used a lot.
Yeah,
Yes, even definitely was that.
Oh, really?
yeah,
Nice.
I know cars are, cars like a simple one, because it's like, it's, you know, EV to a, you know, formerly a gas, whatever they do, I don't know. Anything else from you guys, because we will jump into executive session otherwise.
I'm just not too good, because I can email Jake, but can I put on what's the next, the warrant, the next meeting about getting rid of the, considering the air compressor, we have the station access surplus
Oh, you need to circle this item on the
Yeah.
next agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You want me to email you?
yes, please,
All right.
do so, and I'll try to put it on, do you mind if I put it on?
No, yeah, throw it on there.
It'll be an easy thing for you to do.
Get it sold. Heard you guys did well with the trailer too.
Yeah. 10 grand.
I heard. Will was telling me, or Bill was telling me, it's a win. I was like, well done, dude.
Yeah. They cleaned up nice,
Yeah.
really, the angle of the picture was looking.
Maybe that was the plan all along. Otherwise, we will enter executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, 21A, Clause 2, strategy for contract negotiations for non-union personnel, salary offset, police chief. We will not return to regular session. And we thank you for joining us this evening.
Motion to close public session.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.